Chesty, what two, bitch? What's going down? Man, how y'all feeling on the other side of that motherfucking screen, man? It's 1:43, man, on my end, you know, and I'm full of, yeah, I'm just sitting back chilling, man, with this wand in hand, man. Yeah, I got wand in hand, and we serving no knock warrants. Yeah, we ain't doing none of this. We ain't doing that. We boom. We kicking in a motherfucking door. You know what I'm saying? We let it be known we coming in this bitch with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we stomping on everything. We stepping on all that shit. All that falsehood, bullshit ass, rinky dink ass motherfucking research. We stepping on it. We got one in hand, man. The slander of the prince. How the state destroyed Oklahoma's back to Africa movement. That's right. The slander of the prince. How the state destroyed Oklahoma's back to Africa movement. Yeah, who we do this shit for, man? You know, who we grinding for? Who we doing this research for? Who we bringing it to? Who we bringing this shit for? You know what I'm saying? To roughly 25% of African American adults inside of the United States of America, they can't read a damn thing. And if that ain't discouraging, if that ain't alarming, you know, I think your alarm needs some. It might need some batteries, or your battery's low. Well, I'm here to replace your batteries. Yeah. I'm here to change that alarm. Yeah, and put a new one in. Yeah, we got the slander of the prince. How the state destroyed Oklahoma's back to Africa movement. So you know what I'm saying. Today we gonna die. We digging up a buried piece of history that the system desperately wants you to forget. We are pulling back the curtain on a massive geopolitical cover-up that took place right here in America during the early 1900s. If you pick up a standard white sanctioned history book today, well, if you spend hours scrolling through the digitized, archives of old newspapers from the year 1913, you will run across a wild, sensationalized story about a man they called a fake Abyssinian prince. The media back then painted this man as a slick, cartoonish con artist. They ran headlines laughing at him. They said he was a fraud who dressed up in velvet robes, put on a fake accent, and walked into thriving all black Oklahoma towns like Boulé, Clearview, and Winnetka just to hustle poor, uneducated ancestors into buying $25 shares in a fake company by promising them that gold grew on trees in Africa, that diamonds were sitting on the beaches, and that bees grew on bushes. Oh, excuse me, and that bread grew. They framed the whole movement as a circus, and they framed our people as gullible fools. But today, we're putting on our researcher hats. That's right. We are looking behind the curtain of the global elites propaganda machine. We have to understand a fundamental rule of this here thing. When the white power structure spends that much time, that much money, and that much media in trying to make a black man look like a joke, it is never because he's a common scammer. You don't call in the federal government, the post office, and international intelligence agencies over a petty hustler. They did it because this man was a massive political threat to the global capitalist order. The man they mocked, excuse me, as a sophisticated international chess player named Chief Alfred Sam. And his true political role wasn't a scam. It was pure Pan-African economic subversion. Let's set the record straight right now on who this man actually was. Because the history books lie by omission. Chief Alpha Sam was not from Abyssinia, which we know today as Ethiopia. He never claimed to be an Abyssinian prince. That was a complete lie, manufactured by white press. The white media deliberately slapped an Abyssinian label on him to make him look exotic, bizarre, and alien to Black Americans, trying to create a psychological distance so people wouldn't trust it. The historical reality is that Chief Sam was highly educated, incredibly wealthy, merchant king, born on the Gold Coast of West Africa. In modern day Ghana, he was a legitimate chief of the Akim people, inheriting its title and its vast lands through traditional matrilineal royal successions. He wasn't a broke traveler looking for a quick buck. He was a man who already owned rubber plantations, traded high-grade mahogany, and operated at the highest levels of international commerce, dealing directly in London. Chief Sam was heavyweight. He was heavyweight. Now, why would a wealthy West African chief cross the Atlantic Ocean and show up in Oklahoma in 1913? To understand that, you have to understand the ground our people were standing on out there. A lot of our folks look at Oklahoma's history today and ask, did Chief Sam have American indigenous roots? Was he part Native American? No. Chief Alpha Sam was 100% Native West African. He was a complete outsider to the American landscape. But the reason his message spread like absolute wildfire across Oklahoma is because his followers did have deep, powerful indigenous roots. Before Oklahoma became a state in 1907, it was officially called Indian Territory. The 5 civilized tribes, the Cherokee, the Creek, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, and the Seminole, had been forced onto that land by the federal government during the Trail of Tears. And when those tribal nations, were marched out west, they brought their enslaved Black brothers and sisters with them. After the Civil War, those Black people were liberated, but they weren't just left homeless. Through federal treaties, they were legally recognized as full tribal members, known historically as freedmen. because they were tribal members. These black freedmen actually owned their own individual allotments of land out there in Oklahoma. They didn't just have a house. They owned hundreds of thousands of acres of rich, fertile soil. They built over 50 independent, self-governing, all black towns. They had their own banks, their own businesses, their own schools, and their own mayors. They were sitting on a gold mine of independent wealth. But the moment Oklahoma officially gained statehood in 1907, the white power structure and wealthy oil speculators swooped in like vultures. The very first laws the brand new Oklahoma government passed were vicious Jim Crow, vicious Jim Crow segregation laws. They didn't just segregate water fountains. They systematically targeted the black freedmen. They used corrupt courts, forged signatures, legal fraud, predatory tax laws, and raw racial violence to strip those black freedmen of their tribal land titles and their oil rights. Our ancestors were watching everything they had bled for get stolen by the state overnight. They realized that even in their independent black town, they were trapped under the boot of global white supremacy. And the American legal system was never going to protect them. So when Chief Alfred Sam stepped foot in Oklahoma in 1913, he wasn't talking to a crowd of gullible, uneducated people. He was talking to a highly intelligent, property-owning population of black freedmen who were watching their futures get wiped out by systematic racism. They were economically desperate. They were politically awake, and they were tired. Of fighting a rigged game. No, man, I'm talking about that boy Chief Sam, man, came to Oklahoma with that bread, man. That boy money was long, man. When the local white sheriffs and federal agents first heard about a man named Chief Sam holding massive camp-style meetings in the woods that drew thousands of people, the white power structure completely panicked because Oklahoma was a brand new state built entirely on conquered native land. The white authorities, operating under heavy colonial anxiety, literally thought an indigenous Native American chief was starting an armed tribal rebellion. Imagine the absolute shock and confusion on the faces of the federal spies and local sheriffs when they crept into the woods to surveil these meetings. Instead of a Native American leader plotting the raid, they saw a sovereign West African chief draped in royal kente cloth, standing before thousands of black freedmen. And he wasn't preaching integration. He wasn't telling them to march or beg the government for rights. He told them, they are stealing your land here. They are taking your rights here. And they will never treat you as a human being. So pull your capital, buy shares in my enterprise, and let's go build an independent black empire on my land in Africa. This is why the movement was so explosive. Chief Sam offered a radical escape hatch, and he backed it up with structural economics. He formed the Akim Trading Company as a stock venture. He told black Oklahomans to stop investing in a system that hated them and instead buy $25 shares to fund an international trade network. What was his actual political role? Chief Sam was executing a brilliant, high-level strategy of radical economic immigration and global black solidarity. He didn't just talk. He took the money pooled by the black freedmen and bought a massive 3,000-ton British commercial steamship called the SS Corridor, excuse me, which he officially re-registered and renamed the SS Liberia. Think about the sheer political gravity of a black man owning a transatlantic ocean liner in the year 1913. This wasn't a wooden sailboat. This was a massive engine of industrial independence. Chief Sam's political goal was twofold. First, he wanted to circumvent the white global economy. He planned to harvest coffee and mahogany from his tribal lands in West Africa, load them onto his ship, and sell them directly to black-owned ports and communities in America, cutting out white corporate middlemen entirely. Second, he was organizing a strategic brain drain. He wasn't trying to move people back to Africa to live in poverty. He was selectively recruiting the absolute best talent from Oklahoma's all-black towns. Extra cotton farmers, mechanical engineers, blacksmiths, brick masons, doctors, and educators. He was building a highly skilled vanguard to establish an industrial infrastructure in Ghana that could openly challenge and subvert British colonial rule on the continent. Ooh, y'all all right over there? Ooh, ooh. Let me hear y'all say Chief Sam. This sent an absolute shockwave of panic through the global elite on two separate continents. The white power structure in Oklahoma was terrified because they were about to lose their entire agriculture labor force. If thousands of skilled, black farmers packed up and left with their wealth, the Oklahoma cotton economy would collapse. At the same exact time, the British colonial authorities in West Africa were terrified because they knew that if thousands of independent, radical, highly educated black Americans landed in Ghana with the attitude of self-determination and deep capital, it would spark a nationalist, anti-colonial revolution across the entire continent of Africa. Because the global elite could not stop Chief Sam legally, they unleashed a total, coordinated psychological warfare campaign to destroy him. The United States government, the British imperial state, and the mainstream media locked arms. The post office intercepted the Akim trading company's mail to disrupt their business. The federal government launched relentless investigations. The police arrested Chief Sam multiple times on charges of fraud, claiming the ship didn't exist and that he was running a scam. But here's the part they completely scrubbed from the history books. Chief Sam was exonerated and cleared of every single charge in a court of law. Why? Because his operations were completely legitimate. The books were clean. The ship was real, sitting right there in the harbor. The land in Africa was legally his. The business model was entirely sound. When the white power structure realized they couldn't stop him in a courtroom, they fully weaponized the media to run an optical illusion trick on the public mind. They unleashed a nonstop barrage of articles branding him as a charlatan, a fake prince, a voodoo doctor, and a clown. They ran cartoons mocking our ancestors, trying to make Black people feel embarrassed and foolish for wanting to control their own destiny. They wanted to trick the public into seeing a criminal instead of an economic pioneer. Even though the British government eventually used wartime naval blockades and artificial colonial port restrictions to trap his ship, deny him coal, and financially starve his movement, Chief Sam still beat the system. In December 1914, the SS Liberia successfully sailed out of Galveston, Texas, packed with food, industrial agricultural supplies, and 60 pioneering Black Oklahomans. And in February 1915, against all odds, the ship successfully dropped its anchor on the shores of Salt Pond, Ghana, and our people stepped foot on African soil as free, independent human beings. Ooh. Come on now, come through, ancestors. Damn. It's ultimate proof of what happens when Black people stop thinking locally and start thinking globally. The elite didn't hate him because he was a fake prince. They hated him because he was a real threat to the global plantation. They weaponized media slander to turn a brilliant Pan-African economic mastermind into a historical punchline, hoping you would never look up the receipts or find out about the Black freedmen's land. But our ancestors weren't gullible fools following the hoax. They were international visionaries fighting for a global economic liberation. We have to fix the software in our minds. Stop believing the oppressors' history books and start honoring the real giants who built the blueprints for our freedom. Yeah, man, I just want to, man, land on that, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all decompress, man. You know, we just went into the slander of the prince, how the state destroyed Oklahoma's back to Africa movement. Yeah. But I want to say, man, peace to the Jama, man. The Jama means, excuse me, family in Swahili. I want to say J all day, man. Black power. Follow their cab because he got informational dope in it. Do your own research, man. Don't listen to what I say. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Black power, man. The struggle continues.